I've not even had the iPhone 15 Pro Max for 24 hours yet, but I wanted to do a really quick first impressions video of everything that I think so far after having just played around with the phone. So first of all, the thing that you would notice straight away is that this doesn't really look any different to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, especially in white. I feel like it's really quite hard to tell from behind which of these phones is which. But one of the big things that you notice is that when you take that phone out of the box for the very first time and you hold the phone, it is actually so much lighter than the 14 Pro Max. This will be because that titanium rail now has replaced the stainless steel, and from having a look online, it's around about 10% lighter, which weirdly you can actually feel on something that is so small. And the rails on the side do look better in this kind of like brushed finish rather than having it as stainless steel. I mean, so far it's fingerprint-y. I don't know how well you can see it here, but it does take up fingerprints, but it doesn't look as fingerprint heavy as that stainless steel. The other thing I noticed is that I've been using the Galaxy Z Flip 5 for the past kind of like 4 or 5 weeks since I've been waiting for this to arrive, and you just forget how good an iPhone is. So I look at that display and straight away it looks miles ahead of something like the Galaxy Z Flip 5, and I know that they're not exactly the same displays, but they are very close to exactly the same price, and this display is so much better than that Z Flip 5. It's just a little bit wider, which makes it a little bit easier to use, and even though they're pretty much the same size in height, this just feels better. Now, the other thing that I notice when I'm holding this phone is actually just how much better it is to hold, because what they've done is rounded off the edges ever so slightly, so it's not as boxy and as harsh in your hand as the old 14 Pro Max. And it feels weird saying harsh in your hand and easier to hold, but it just is. It sits way more comfortably. So I do really like that new little curved finish around the side of the phone. For me, it's just a bit nicer to use. I went for the white titanium version, and I still don't know whether I made a mistake, because that blue and the like original, whatever they're calling it, titanium color look so good. And like I said, you can't really tell that this phone is the new phone because it's exactly the same color as the old one. And I don't know, maybe I've made a mistake. Now, what else can I talk to you about in a first impressions? Well, the cameras on the back, they look like the cameras on the back have done for the past couple of years, because I've not had a chance to try them out yet. The only thing that I have noticed on that main lens is if you press it a couple of times, you can change the focal length on the camera, which is kind of cool, but I've not had a chance to use it properly yet. And that 5x zoom, all I've done is zoom into like a fake pigeon that they've got on the building here to scare away the real birds. But this so far doesn't seem amazing, but we have to try it out. And let me tell you the weirdest thing about this on the 15 Pro Max. It's not that it's titanium, it's not that it feels lighter, it's not that it's got rounded edges, it's that you've got to plug in a USB-C cable to it. That weirdly doesn't feel right. I'm really happy that Apple have decided on their own to move to USB-C, but it does feel a little bit strange when you're plugging in one of those cables. But because of this, it now means that I can use almost one cable for everything. I mean, my AirPods Pro 2nd generation are still Lightning, which is a bit annoying, and I need to charge my Series 9 Apple Watch anyway, so I have to take that cable with me. But it's close to one cable for everything. And I was going through listening to all these new ringtones that Apple have put into the settings, and you know what I found really, really nice? I've never said this about any phone ever, but the haptics and the vibrations felt really good. iPhone has been known for having really good haptics over the past couple of years, and people don't really get to feel it or see it because a lot of the time your phone's on silent, and my phone is going to be on silent as well. But Apple introduced about 20 of these ringtones, and if you haven't gone in to change it, just go into the settings and have a little feel of what this is like, because genuinely it's a really nice feeling. And it's weird to say that the vibrations are nice and it mainly sounds a bit dodgy, but they're actually quite good. And the one last thing that we have to talk about on this first impressions video is that new action button on the side of the phone. It feels like it's in almost the exact same place as the mute slider, but I tell you what, already I miss the mute slider because I've already gone to play with it. It was like my fidget spinner. Do you remember fidget spinners? It was like that for me. So I used to always try and play with the side of it here. However, it's now gone. And as you can see, it's almost in exactly the same place. I don't know how well you can see that on there. It's a bit dark. My biggest problem, I suppose, with an action button or this action button is that I'd have liked it to have been one press, but you have to long press to open something. Like at the moment, I've got long press on to open the flashlight or the torch, and I'll get used to having to long press it, but it'd be really nice if you could single press to do one action and then like long press to do another. And it might be something that Apple introduced, but at the moment, that long press to open maybe that the flashlight or the camera is what you need to do. And I haven't got anything else to say about the iPhone 15 Pro Max, except it feels better because of the rounded edges. It feels better because it's much, much lighter, which is what we needed. And it feels weird to plug in a USB-C cable, but I will get used to it because it's just a cable, isn't it? But it does feel a little bit weird. But, you know, first impressions of this phone are it's an iPhone. There isn't a lot to shout about as I've unboxed it and used it for the past 24 hours or so. But if you have got yourself a 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, let me know which color you went for. I'm like on the fence. 40% regret getting the white titanium, and maybe I'll send it back and go and get the grey titanium if I can even find one anywhere in the world. Anyway, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel because I'll do a full review on this and some more reviews on the 15 Pro Max as the weeks go on. And if you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell as well because that really helps. And I shall see you later.